As we continue to explore the vast expanse of the Star Wars galaxy, it becomes increasingly clear that the conversation about representation and diversity is not a static entity, but rather a dynamic narrative that evolves alongside the franchise itself. The original trilogy's celebration of the Rebel Alliance's fight against the oppressive Empire served as a powerful allegory for our own world's struggles for freedom, justice, and equality. However, this narrative has also been marked by its own contradictions. On the one hand, the Star Wars universe has consistently demonstrated a deep respect for the intricate nuances of galactic diversity. From the culturally sensitive portrayal of the Wookiees' struggles for autonomy and self-discovery to the groundbreaking representation of indigenous cultures in the Woks. Yet, on the other hand, the franchise has historically been guilty of relegating marginalized communities to the periphery, often reducing them to simplistic caricatures or tokenistic cameos. This dichotomy is a result of the franchise's own sense of identity, one that has long been shaped by the nostalgic ideals of a bygone era. The original trilogy's celebration of a band of white heroes fighting against a monolithic evil has become an ingrained part of our cultural heritage, a nostalgic echoes of a simpler time. But how did this mythology come to dominate the franchise? One possible answer lies in the era in which the original trilogy was created, a time when the civil rights movement was still in its early stages and issues of representation and diversity were largely ignored. The franchise's early successes, both critically and commercially, created a self-perpetuating cycle of familiarity and nostalgia that has only recently begun to be disrupted by the growing presence of audiences who expect more representative and inclusive storytelling. This historical context is essential to understanding the franchise's complicated relationship with representation. On one hand, it highlights the ways in which the original trilogy's mythology has been used to perpetuate systemic biases and marginalize communities of color. On the other hand, it underscores the franchise's potential to learn and grow, to evolve alongside the changing values and expectations of its audience. Recent additions to the Star Wars universe, such as The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan Kenobi, have taken significant strides in correcting the franchise's past mistakes, introducing characters like Din Djarin and Ahsoka Tano, who offer a nuanced and multidimensional portrayal of marginalized communities. But these developments are merely a starting point, a critical first step towards true representation and authenticity. For the Star Wars franchise to truly become a force for good, it must fundamentally shift its approach to representation, prioritizing the experiences and perspectives of marginalized communities above all else. This requires a willingness to abandon simplistic stereotypes and whitewashing, and to embark on a journey of self-conscious learning and growth, one that acknowledges the franchise's past mistakes and commits to creating a more inclusive and equitable galaxy. The proliferation of whitewashed villains, for example, is more than just a matter of artistic choice. It actively erases the complexities and nuances of real-world experiences, reinforcing a narrative that positions people of color as inherently violent or oppressive. The franchise must be willing to confront these biases head-on, to recognize the harm that they cause, and to work towards a more inclusive and equitable vision of the galaxy. Ultimately, the journey towards greater representation is not a static destination, but a continuous process of growth, evolution, and learning. As we venture deeper into the galaxy far, far away, it is essential that we remain committed to this journey, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in science fiction, and striving to build a galaxy that truly reflects the diversity and complexity of our own world. In fact, this commitment to representation and inclusivity is not just good business, but good storytelling. The franchise's most memorable and beloved characters, from Leia Organa to Luke Skywalker, are not just archetypes or heroes. They are multidimensional and complex beings, driven by a rich inner life and a deep sense of purpose. By embracing the richness and diversity of galactic cultures, the Star Wars franchise has the potential to transcend its own nostalgic mythology and speak to something deeper and more profound about our own world, a world where heroes, rebels, and villains come from all walks of life, and where the boundaries between culture, identity, and galactic politics are blurred in the pursuit of a more inclusive and equitable future. In this sense, the journey towards greater representation is not just a matter of ticking boxes or checking off diversity quotas. It is a journey of true creativity and innovation, one that challenges the franchise to rethink its own assumptions and values, and to build a galaxy that is truly worthy of our hopes and dreams. The Star Wars franchise has a unique opportunity to shape the cultural conversation around representation and diversity, to be a beacon of hope for marginalized communities and individuals. By amplifying the voices and stories of people of color, individuals, and other underrepresented groups, the franchise can help to break down systemic barriers and challenge the dominant narratives that have long excluded or marginalized these communities. The impact of this effort would be far-reaching, touching not just the Star Wars universe, but the broader cultural landscape as well. By embracing a more inclusive and representative vision of the galaxy, the franchise can help to heal historical wounds, to mend the fractures that have long divided our world, and to build a brighter, more equitable future for all. Ultimately, the journey towards greater representation is not just a matter of improving the franchise's box office numbers or ratings. It is a matter of the heart, a deeply human endeavor to create a world that is worthy of our highest aspirations, a world where the boundaries of identity, culture, and politics are not barriers, but bridges that connect us, inspire us, and uplift us all.